Hi, welcome to Planetary Calendar for February 2018. I'm Ralph.
And I'm Lahni. And we're using the new larger format of the calendar, which is great because you don't need your glasses to read it. Except I think I'm going to use them anyway.
Yeah, we don't want to make mistakes.
I'm easily flubbed. The first 2 weeks are spent in that emotionally complex, deeply moving period between the January 31st eclipse and the February 15th eclipse, which coincidentally is the Chinese New Year. Chill out, take it easy, be patient with yourself and others. You will get the greatest benefit from allowing time for emotional and spiritual processing. Fortunately, during these 2 weeks, the other planets behave themselves. On the 4th, the sunshine moon lends a push to any projects you focus on. On the 10th, Venus enters her exalted sign Pisces with the sun sextile moon ushering a period of compassion and hope until April 5th. Enjoy this time, but don't overdo the wine and spirits. On the 15th, the new moon eclipse marks the beginning of the Chinese calendar's Yang Earth Dog, a very special but practical year. Eclipses are always black box days, even though the other aspects are considered positive. However, they reinforce the chart's dominant Saturn and the constrictions that brings. But there is potential for brilliance, compassion, and enthusiasm on the West Coast. Considering the relationship between Saturn in Capricorn and Jupiter in Scorpio, you need dogged determination to make progress. On the 17th, Mercury enters watery Pisces, followed by the Sun on the 18th, so prepare to dive deep into your healing potential. On the 20th and 21st, the Sun sextile moon, followed by the white circle day with Venus conjunct Neptune, says that a sense of hope will return. With moon in Taurus, find someone to cook with or go out to lunch. On the 25th, this white circle day is for enjoying, so avoid having to choose between work and family. With Venus and Mars both in traditional Jupiter-ruled signs, this is a great day for sports and games.
So the month has a certain schizophrenic quality to it because you have the first 15 days between the eclipse, which tends to be emotionally kind of bound up. People will feel this. They'll feel like just everything's a little tight. So be a little more patient with people. Be a little more patient with yourself. Take things slowly and use the lunations, as we say here on the 4th. You have a nice aspect between sun and moon, so use that to kind of move things along. There's a tendency when people have there's a trine between sun and moon for people to coast. Say, oh, things are going well, and just skate, which you can if you want. But if you have a project you need to move along, that's a great day to move it because there'll tend to be less resistance because people are skating, they're coasting, and you can kind of push them where you want them to go, herd those cats.
Well, and there's no kind of extraneous little white noise to take you off your path. So I like those days where there aren't a lot of marks in the box.
Yeah, exactly.
Calendar day.
And then on the 10th, when Venus moves into Pisces, this is actually a pretty big thing because Venus loves being in Pisces. It's the exalted sign. It really taps into Venus's ability to be compassionate and to be creative and to be romantic. It's lovely. In fact, it's happening, of course, on the 10th, right before Valentine's Day on the 14th. So.
And it's interesting because Venus entering the sign of Pisces, the sign of escape and relaxation and, not necessarily getting a lot done, sort of coincides a little bit with that void of course moon that's all day long from 8:30 in the morning to 6:30 in the evening, at least here on the West Coast. So don't plan on getting a lot done.
Right.
Thankfully, it's a Saturday.
Yes, and fortunately the void of course is in Sagittarius, which is traditionally a better sign for the void of course because at least your optimism is up and going. And if your optimism is up and going, everything else is easy. After all, attitude is a huge amount about making life work properly.
They say you don't really feel the void if it's in the sign of Jupiter or if it's in the sign of the moon. Right. But when it's in Pisces, that's almost like being void of course all the time. So
yeah, it's a great time to meditate.
Some respects.
Great time to meditate, to pray. So now the next big thing that happens in this month after Valentine's Day, of course, very, very important day, is on the 15th, and that's the new moon in Aquarius. That is the traditional Chinese New Year. Now, the day it's going to be celebrated on the 16th, because they celebrate the Chinese New Year on the first full day after the new moon in Aquarius. And if you go to our website, spaceandtime.com, or you catch our TV show, Ask Ralph and Lahni, for February, you can see our entire forecast. It's a full 28.5 minutes about what's going on in this coming year. And it's going to be a very, very interesting year. And having an eclipse on the Chinese New Year, in a certain way, kind of says it all. So
That's true.
Go
Get
take
out the
a
roller
look.
skates.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what's interesting, I think, is that right after this eclipse, and now this period of eclipse is kind of like having a door close with the second eclipse. Mercury goes into Pisces too, and then the next day the Sun goes into Pisces. So now you have Venus, Mercury, and the Sun all in Pisces. This is really a great time for visioning, don't you think?
Sounds good to me.
Could be a great time for drinking wine too.
Well, there's all those aspects. It's a great time for dancing or horseback riding.
That's true too.
There you go.
Or going to the
other
beach.
ruler ships of Pisces.
Yeah, if you have a great beach to go to.
Beaches always get my vote.
Yeah, and it's also a great time for spiritual pursuits. But you really, many of the most successful people out there have very strong planets in Pisces because of the importance of imagination and vision in success. I mean, George Washington was a Piscean, for instance. And,
I was just going to say.
And the importance of one's belief and one's ability to tell the story of it and to be dependable and trustworthy in your beliefs. It was essential to his success.
Absolutely.
Not just his great horse riding and dancing skills. So a great Piscean, after all.
You probably want to talk about the footnote on 20, because I'm chomping at the bit to talk a little bit about the white circle on the 21st.
Oh, yes. On the 20th and 21st, right, you have the Sun sextile Moon, followed by the white circle day with Venus conjunct Neptune. The sense of hope will return. These are just really positive aspects.
Right. Truly, the only reason that the 20th isn't a white circle as well is because that void, of course, there in the early part of the day. Because otherwise the aspects look really nice.
Right, and in truth, it's only because the moon is in Aries, which is not, it's a little bit of a rammy spot for a void, of course, moon to kind of banging around down the street. So.
Well, I mean, Aries likes to run forward, not think about where it's been or where it's going. So
exactly, and especially when things are in Pisces, because you can make people a little bit of impulsive. And the white circle day, it's a lovely day. The Venus is conjunct Neptune. Once again, that imagination is really highlighted. Neptune's been in Pisces for a while now, which probably explains why there's been so many great movies.
Well, and the 22nd looks like it could also be a white circle day if it was not for that. It's a longer void, of course. But, of course, the aspects there are parallels, which are not really strong aspects. And although they're all positive aspects, they're not really strong enough to really lend the support that one would expect from a white circle day.
Yes. And it's kind of interesting, like I said, the schizophrenic nature of the month, that the first half of the month has no white circle days. The second half, after the eclipse, has two. And there's a number of other days in there, the 20th and the 22nd, when the aspects are very positive. And of course, when you look at the white circle on the 25th, you normally have to figure whenever there's a white circle day, really look at the day before and the day after, because those aspects are still in place. Unless the moon is changing sign and going void, of course, the aspects are staying lively. Remember, it's not like planets come together for a conjunction and just go whoop and fly by. They spend a lot of time close together. What we list here is the exact period of time. So it will span, depending upon the speed of the planet, it will span for several days before or after.
Exactly. And so, there's the purists out there who would want to have a formulaic way to discover why there's a white circle day or a black box day. But 25th is an example that there is an aspect, a square between Venus and Mars that's below the line, meaning that it's a challenging aspect. And Saturn, in fact, is also below the letter or the numbers, which means that it's in a challenging aspect with the moon at some point in time during the day.
It's opposite the moon.
So you know, in that case, it's an evaluation of the weight of the other supportive aspects, and sometimes, you know, sometimes those squares help to get things done. Sometimes those, you know, oppositions help you to see a clearer picture. So we really evaluate these days on a number of levels before we decide whether or not they're going to be a white circle or a black box.
You remember that with aspects. It's the squares that get things done. You know, you don't build buildings out of circles. You know, you build them out of blocks. The sextiles and trines, those things make it life easier and make things flow more easily. But in terms of accomplishing things, it's the squares that are really important. And in fact, that square between Venus and Mars is between the two signs of Jupiter, Pisces and Sagittarius.
Exactly. And if everything was sextiles and trines, you know, you'd get bored after a while. Trust us.
Yeah. And then the moon is actually in Cancer on that day, which is the exaltation sign of Jupiter. So you have 3 different markers to Jupiter there in the course of the day. And remember, the big guy in the plaid suit, if you get him to smile, everything goes a lot easier.
Exactly.
So, any other interesting things you want to look at? I think the Chinese New Year is the you know, the gorilla in the room, you might say, the elephant in the room.
And we did an expanded dissertation, so to speak, on the Chinese New Year. So hopefully you're on our email list, or you'll look it up on our website when we post it for that middle of the month in February. We mentioned a little bit about the fact that the Chinese New Year is defined by the new moon in Aquarius, which means a conjunction in the same degree of the sun and the moon in Aquarius. So it can happen at any time in Aquarius, either the beginning of Aquarius, so that would put it like the middle of January, or the end of Aquarius, which would put it in the middle of February. So this year, it's a late Chinese New Year.
Right.
And so we'll have to see if we have a late spring, because
that's what the Chinese call it.
It marks a set point where energy is completely withdrawn into the earth and then starts to build again. It doesn't start to build again until after that new moon happens.
Right.
So
on the Chinese New Year, you can balance an egg on end. You know, don't do it on the hardest surface, but maybe put a piece of paper and you can balance an egg on end during the Chinese New Year, because all the energy has withdrawn. And this is the Yang Earth Dog year. And how could the year of the dog not be like nice and friendly?
Well, because the Earth Dog, as it sounds, is a friendly,
practical
type of energy, and the correlation between the Western and the Chinese zodiac makes the dog year analogous to the energy of Libra. So again, another friendly partnering kind of energy.
Partnered companion, yes.
But down to earth,
down
because
to earth.
It's earth.
Well, also especially because it's the Earth dog year, because Saturn being in Capricorn makes it the Earth is the Earth dynamic. The Jupiter in sidereal Libra and tropical Scorpio is the concept of where Jupiter is that year, because the Chinese New Year is the Chinese system is based upon the position of Jupiter. It takes 12 years for Jupiter to go through the 12 signs, and the Chinese system is based upon the 12 animal signs. So
exactly.
It's a very interesting system. Watch that. Remember, you can find it at spaceandtime.com. It gives you a whole view about what's happening in different places around the world. And I'll tell you, it's really interesting when you look at the United States, that coast to coast, you have 2 different forecasts. They're so different this year. It's really quite remarkable.
Yeah, we've been doing that forecast now for a number of years, about 15?
Yeah, I think
maybe,
so. Yeah.
Maybe a little more.
Yeah.
And it's very telling when you can see the difference of the effect of that New Year starting point all over the globe.
Yeah. So enjoy. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Chinese New Year. And come back and see us again next month.
Hi, we're Ralph and Lahni with another Astrological Minute, or 10. And we thought this time we would talk about the Chinese zodiac, because we get a lot of questions about that and how it relates to the Western zodiac.
Exactly. And remember that the Chinese New Year is the most widely celebrated festival on the planet. So there are a lot of people who use the Chinese animal signs. And it's really very practical for certain reasons, in the same way that what we call the sun sign astrology is in the West. But sun sign astrology is literally that. Where is the sun in the course of the year, starting at the first day of spring, goes through the 12 lunations, the 12 months. Chinese astrology, each year it's marked at the Chinese New Year, which is always in Aquarius, and then it takes 12 years to go through the cycles. Well, what that related to? Jupiter. It takes 12 years for Jupiter to go through the 12 signs. But there is a correlation between the two, because in the same way that the sun goes through different signs in the course of the year appears to, Jupiter goes through to 12 signs, and so there's a correlation in terms of where is Jupiter in the Western system and what is the animal year in the Chinese system.
And so, as most people know, people born in the same astrological sign in the Western perspective sort of share similar traits. And so from the Chinese perspective, people who are born in that entire year of when Jupiter is in a particular zodiac sign, in the particular constellation, they share certain qualities. And these qualities correlate to the signs, starting with our first sign is Aries. And Aries has an energy that is related to the energy of the Chinese animal year of the dragon.
The dragon. Love the dragons. During the Chinese New Year festival every year, that's my favorite part of the entire parade, is the dragons. And it has a lot of that same energetic power. And in China, dragons are seen as creatures of the sky. Well, in Aries, that's when the plants start coming up and all the energy is rising out of the earth. Where's it going? It's going towards the sky. And so we find that dragon people tend to have a lot of energy. They tend to be very self-directed, like Aries people tend to be. And they tend to be very optimistic.
So then we come to the next sign of Taurus. Taurus is related to the animal year of the snake.
And snakes in China are seen very differently from how we see them here. They're seen as very charming. They're seen as very sexy. They're seen as very wise. So people born in the year of the snake tend to be very good with money.
And you can see that the snake would be an earthy quality that would be related to another earth sign like Taurus.
Exactly. There's four hooves on the ground. What's more earthy than a snake, after all?
And then we come to Gemini. Gemini is related to the animal year of the horse.
And that's interesting, I think, because Geminis are known for being quick. They change direction fast. They're here and then they're over there, and they're very social. And horses, of course, are very social animals, and they're very quick on their feet, and they're quick to change directions, and they can be very skittish, just like Geminis can be, in fact.
Yeah, I think that relationship is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we come up to Cancer.
Yes, the year of the sheep, which really, that just fits so well, don't you think?
I think so, too.
Cancerians are so homey, and they're so cushy, and sheep are just, sheep people tend to be, they're very loving, they tend to be very nurturing, they oftentimes make very good mothers, very good parents,
And then after Cancer, we come to Leo.
Right.
Leo is related to the animal year of the monkey.
And once again, another great fit, because
they're so playful.
Every family should have a Leo just for the entertainment value,
Absolutely.
don't you think?
A little monkey.
Yeah, exactly. A little monkey. And boy, is there's ways in which you see that in them. And people born in the year of the monkey tend to be very playful. They tend to be very energetic and bouncy, don't you think?
And entertaining.
Entertaining.
That's
very
another
entertaining.
feature of both the monkey and the Leo energy.
And they tend to get into everything, especially if there's food around. Ever notice that with monkey people? They really do. It's funny, you never can go to a monkey person's home where there's not food tucked all over the place.
A monkey person. I'm going to have to start thinking about using that terminology.
They always want to feed you. It's true. It's true.
And then after Leo, we have Virgo.
And it's
Virgo relates to the animal sign of the rooster.
Ah, yes, the proud rooster, the good-looking rooster, the poised rooster.
But pecking in the barnyard.
They are picky.
Picky, pecking. It seems to go together,
yes.
right?
But they tend to keep their head up high. They
crow.
And they don't back down from a fight. That's one thing about rooster people. They do not back down from a fight, which is funny because Virgo is seen as a relatively, people think of the Virgin.
Passive kind of.
And yet, if you see many of the most successful business people in America, they're Virgos. One is the ability to handle all the details, but it's also the willingness to steal their inner self and go walk into that meeting that's going to be difficult and do it anyway.
And rule the roost.
Yeah, and remember, Virgo relates very strongly to Vulcan, and there's a steely quality to Virgos in there, especially Virgos born in the if they're born in a metal year. That's another component from the Chinese system.
Yeah, but we digress from our digression.
But the next year,
the following sign
Yes.
from Virgo is Libra.
yes,
And Libra relates to the year of the dog.
isn't that nice?
And that's such a perfect fit. I mean,
Yeah.
dogs, friendly, partnering, unconditional love, loyalty, all of that.
And it is funny that people born in the year of the dog tend to fix on to somebody. They tend to want a partner. They tend to be tremendously loyal to someone. You know,
Imprint, even.
yeah, imprint upon them. And it's interesting that you see that quality. And of course, strong Libra in the chart, you know, never ask a Libran where they want to go out to dinner, because they're going to want to know where you want to go first. And once you tell them, then they'll figure out where they want to go if it works with them. But it's about that need to, what do you think? I'll tell you what I think when you tell me what you think. And that's the Libran quality. And that's what dogs do. Are we going for a walk? I'll go for a walk. Oh, we can sit on the couch if you want. Oh, we can go for a walk. Dog people. Lovely year, though. Lovely year.
And then we get to Scorpio, and all of you Scorpio phobes out there are probably going to have a little laugh when you find out that the correlation between Scorpio and the animal year is the year of the pig.
Yes. Yes.
But, you know, there's so many hidden attributes, hidden talents to a very intelligent animal, the
Very
pig.
intelligent.
You know, I think it's a good fit.
Well, especially because in China, their view of pigs, just like their view of snakes, is very different than it is from the West.
Well, what's the Chinese symbol for discord? Is a house with two women in it.
Right.
And the Chinese symbol for harmony and happiness is a house with a woman and a pig.
Yes, because many people traditionally in China will keep a pig in the backyard and raise a pig for food, you know, over the course of a year. It's a very efficient system. They're very efficient animals for livestock and such. But they're very smart. And if you live in a place where there's wild boars around, you know they're very tough. Well, smart and tough and self-directed, that sounds like Scorpio to me.
And they love truffles.
And they love truffles. Yes, they love truffles.
That's Scorpionic too.
Exactly.
Then after Scorpio, we come to Sag.
Yes.
Sag relates to the year of the rat.
Yes, which is actually the traditional year that the Chinese system begins. In fact, periodically in China, their calendar would go out of whack. So when the new emperor would come into place, they would reset the calendar, and they would always reset it with the year of the rat as the first year.
Right. And so rats are industrious.
Yes.
They're explorational. Is
Yes.
that a word?
Yes.
They like to go out of their area
explorers,
and
yeah.
forage, and they're very sort of gregarious and
Yep.
communal oriented, and they're socialized.
Well, they've shown up all over the planet because of their ability to get onto ships. And Sagittarians
Travel.
love to travel. You know,
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, they travel. They hop on the ships and travel with
That's
the ships
really
and
funny.
travel with humans.
That's really funny. So the year of the rat.
Yeah, and Sagittarius.
And then we have Capricorn,
Yes.
which relates to the year of the ox.
Yes. Which is very interesting because, once again, it's the four hooves on the ground, kind of like Taurus and its relationship to the snake. But,
Another earth sign.
yeah. But with Capricorn, it's a little different. Here you see more of its ambition, and you do find that the people who are born in the year of the oxen are very willing to do the hard work of being successful. But being successful is very important to them. There was a great saying about the oxen. The oxen is slow, but the earth is patient.
There you go. There you go.
All about patience with Capricorn. They'll keep working. They'll work in the hard jobs, and they'll work their way up.
And they also don't have any problem cooperating.
Yeah, that too.
Oxen.
That
They
too.
work in teams very well. So
Exactly.
that's another correlation with that ox energy in Capricorn.
Yeah.
And then after Capricorn comes Aquarius.
Yes.
And Aquarius relates to the year of the tiger. And this tiger year, you know the saying, you got a tiger by the tail?
Yes.
That's really what the Asian feeling is about that. In fact, there has been a stigma against female tigers because they just felt like they were too aggressive, too directed, too bossy, too energetic. Yeah.
Especially the ones born in the year of the fire tiger.
So that tiger energy plans and is shrewd and
they're opportunistic.
Exactly, in both senses of the word, the positive and the negative sense of that word. Yeah. Anything more about the tiger?
And they are very good to their friends. Tiger people are known to be very good to their friends, which
so are Aquarians.
That's the thing with Aquarius. They are a group. They have a group mentality.
Exactly. A little impersonal sometimes,
but always they will watch out for you.
And the tiger says nothing personal, but I'm hungry.
Yes.
So there you go.
And then
we end up with Pisces, which is the last sign in the Western zodiac, not the last sign in the Chinese zodiac, right. But it's kind of the reward.
Yes.
People have said that the year of the rabbit is the reward.
Yes, that having rabbits in your life is one of life's great luxuries.
Luxuries. Okay. Well, so the rabbit energy is like Pisces and is compassionate and is thoughtful and is, maybe a little indolent at times.
Flexible.
But
with a strong sense of belief.
And very communal.
Very communal. And they're not, it's not an aggressive position. Though it is a social position, though the Pisceans are known, the Piscean or rabbit energy is known for like to hang out with their fellows and eat carrots, in bed, they have a certain reclusive quality to them. They can be out there and they can do incredibly creative things. It's a very, very creative sign, very imaginative sign, but they need a certain amount of time to withdraw and get away from the world.
Exactly. Maybe they're the B blood types of the Chinese zodiac.
Yes. And there's actually been many famous actors who were born in the rabbit years, partially because of this ability to be very imaginative, I think.
And so there are elements associated with this that they go on another cycle, but that is for another time.
Right.
But so when you see the earth rabbit or the metal rabbit or the earth, metal, fire, wood are the elements, and water are related to these signs, and modify these qualities a little bit so that it's not as generic as it might seem for a whole year.
Right. And it's helpful to know. It's fun to know.
So we hope you've enjoyed this.
Yep.
Come back for another minute or 10 with Ralph and Lahni DeAmicis.